Girl, man, from around my way.
Welcome back to my channel. Today is day 2 of my girls trip in Napa, and y'all, I am tired. It is 4 in the morning and we have to get ready to go on this hot air balloon ride. Now, we got a decent amount of sleep, but it's so early. But come on, let's get dressed, let's get ready, and let's go on this hot air balloon ride. Now, before we even do anything this morning, I absolutely need a cup of coffee. If you know me, I'm definitely more of a tea drinker, but I need some caffeine today. In my suite, there is a Keurig, so I definitely took advantage of that a couple of times. Went ahead and got this coffee started so we could start this day. Now, I went with a super casual look for today. The hot air balloon ride, you do have to climb in and out of the basket, and you do have to have closed-toed shoes. So I just went with a basic little black jumper, my little go-to jean jacket, my red lipstick, and we're gonna call it a day. We ended up going with Napa Valley Aloft hot air balloon rides, and they had a shuttle service that came to pick us up that morning as well. Even though they do serve Napa Valley, their launch site is actually in Yountville, which is the next city over from Napa. So it was a quick car ride over to the next town. And our driver, he was really trying to tell us about the history of the town, but we were so tired and sleepy. I don't know half of what that man was saying. Once we got out the truck, we did arrive to this courtyard area, which is right next to their launch takeoff spot. You have to check in at the beginning with your full group, which is super easy and painless. They do have like a couple of refreshments and pastries as well. You do have to sign a pretty basic liability waiver, which is again super easy and painless. And then they do go over kind of the whole process and what to expect when you're about to load your balloon. So we are about to take off on the hot air balloon. They're just going over some safety instructions really quick, and then they're gonna call our group to see which balloon we're actually going on. I am so excited. Like I said last time when I went, I absolutely loved it. It's just so calm and like peaceful. Everyone's saying it's a great day to go up in the balloon today, so it should be good. We're just, like I said, waiting for our assignment to see which balloon we're going on, and then we're gonna be in the air very soon. So I'm so excited. Once they went over the expectations and what to listen out for to actually load your balloon, we made our way over to the launch site, which literally was just the parking lot of the actual courtyard we were in. But once we got there, I mean, look how huge these balloons are. I always tell people, whatever you think a hot air balloon looks like, literally multiply it by 10 because it's that big, it's that massive. I mean, seeing this in person is every time it just trips me out, because even the basket, you think it might be like a little baby basket. I mean, it holds a good amount of people, but the balloons are so big. And I mean, I guess it makes sense when you think about it, because they literally have to keep it like up in the air, so it has to be big. But I don't know, just seeing it in person, it's massive. If you've never gone on a hot air balloon ride, I highly recommend that you find a company that is FAA certified, because you want to make sure they have all their licensing, their certification, because again, going in a hot air balloon is just like going in a plane, and you don't want to just do that with anybody. You want to make sure they know what they're doing. So in between the actual check-in process to us actually loading in the balloon was probably another 30 minutes or so. They actually divide everybody up by groups, and we were one of the last groups, so we got in a couple pictures before we headed in the sky. And I mentioned earlier that you do have to wear closed-toe shoes. Now that's because you have to climb into the basket, kind of like that guy is climbing on the side there. There's little baby steps, but you want to make sure that your feet are protected just in case you misstep or anything like that. And before you know it, we are lifting off. This again is the most peaceful experience. I feel like some people think that it's going to be super rocky or kind of like shaking back and forth. It literally feels like you're in an elevator and you're just kind of lifting up, you're just floating up, and then you're just floating in the sky. That's exactly why they pay so close attention to the weather and the temperature and the wind, because they want to make sure it's perfect temperature to have a nice and easy ride. You don't want to get up there and have turbulence or be shaking around like that. It's just not safe. And a pilot who knows what they're doing would never put you in that position anyways. So the ride is always going to be nice and smooth. Just again, kind of like an elevator ride almost. And look at these views. It is so beautiful. I am a sucker for a good view, a good sunrise, mountain view. I just love that. So I was having the time of my life up here, just smiling, cheesing, taking pictures. So usually there's 2 different pilots that's on the hot air balloon ride with you. One is kind of, I think he's kind of there to keep everybody else calm. He's telling you about the views and what you can see and where to look and all those good stuff. But then the other pilot is really the one who's, I guess, actually flying the hot air balloon ride and actually doing all the things to make it stay in the sky. But we had Pilot Emily and Pilot Pete, and they both did a great job. Our ride lasted for about an hour or so, and then before you knew it, we were back on the ground. And again, we had a very smooth landing too. It was just like an elevator again, just like an elevator coming down. And because they don't know exactly where they're going to land the hot air balloon ride, they always have these vans that are falling behind it to pick everyone up and take us back to the actual launch spot. And for us, Pilot Emily actually brought us back to the actual launch spot. Now for Aloft hot air balloon rides, they were going to take us back to our hotel, but we asked them if we could stop at this bakery that we saw across the street, and they said, sure, take your time, go explore. So it's exactly what we did. One thing that I've seen all over my timeline on TikTok and Instagram and just everywhere is the Bouchon Bakery. So when we saw this one driving up to the actual launch spot, we knew we wanted to stop. And let me tell you, before you even walk in the door, you smell all of the fresh bread, pastries, everything. It smells so good, so dreamy. The line was long, but it moved pretty quickly. And once you get in, it's a pretty quaint, smaller bakery, honestly, than I expected, but they have a lot packed into it. So they have a little bit of everything from fresh breads, breakfast sandwiches, eclairs, cheese danishes. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. I ended up getting a cheese danish, and my only regret is that I probably should have got a couple more things. I was trying to be good and just get one thing, but looking back at it, I should have tried a lot more. And it's definitely not a big bakery, so you really get your things and go ahead and head on. Okay, so we just left the cutest little bakery. I just got a little cheese danish. The girls are getting a couple other things, so we're wrapping up here. We just finished up the hot air balloon ride, so I think we're gonna head back to the suite in a little bit, just kind of relax. I don't really know what else we're doing for the day. We're probably just like relaxing a little bit, of course, going to wineries and things like that. And then after that, we'll just kind of see where the day goes. But I'm so excited to try this, you guys. It looks so cute. I can't wait to show you. Now, this is what the cheese danish looked like, and it was huge. Honestly, it was a lot bigger than what I expected, but it was delicious. Like I said, I wish I would have tried more things, but I'm a cheese danish kind of girl, so if I see one, I'm probably gonna get it, and I'm so glad I did. And most of us really loved what we got. Like I said, I loved mine. A couple of the girls were saying that a couple of things were a little too sweet, but I think it really depends on what you got. We then headed back to the lunch spot so we could get picked up to go back to our hotel. Even just walking this little bit through Yountville, it's just so cute. Again, to me, it looks like almost like a Hallmark movie or something, like a little cute town with little bakeries on the corner. It was just, I loved it. At this point, it's only about 8 in the morning or so, so we all went back to our suites and took a nap, got ready, and then we left out again about maybe 1 o'clock or so to head over to have lunch at Sky and Vine, which is a rooftop restaurant in downtown Napa. Again, walking distance from where we're staying, so we just walked over there. The restaurant that we were going to is actually inside of the Archer Hotel. Now, I keep saying everything is walking distance in Napa for the most part, and that's true for most of the bars and restaurants and kind of like Napa Valley wineries that are in Napa. And if you're going to Napa and you're staying in the city of Napa, everything will be in those main areas. Now, if you're going outside of it to Yountville or Calistoga or some of these other like actual vineyards, that's going to be a little bit of a drive. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're planning your trip to Napa, just knowing which vineyards versus which wineries versus where you actually want to stay and how far those things are located from each other. We didn't have a driver once we got out here and just ended up taking Ubers to a lot of the wineries. And then when anything was downtown, which is just next door to our hotel, we ended up walking there. If you're planning a trip out here and you know you want to go to some places that are a little more spread out, make sure you're just aware of that and prepare for that. Now, I really did like Sky and Vine. We did go July 4th weekend, so they were very busy and it almost looked like they were short staffed because everything just seemed like it took forever. Forever to get drinks, forever to get our food. Once we actually did get our food, it was okay. I just had a classic Caesar salad with shrimp, but my drink though, I loved it. Our server recommended this drink called the Sunflower. Absolutely delicious. Love, 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 love. I probably would go back, but I probably would go back more so just for the views and the drinks, more so than the food. After we finished up at Sky and Vine, we decided to head over to the wine castle out in Calistoga. Now, this is something that I wanted to do so bad, and I'm so glad we decided to do it. Now, Calistoga is about 40 minutes or so away from the city of Napa, so we ended up taking an Uber ride over there. Hey guys, so we have finally made it to the castle. We are just waiting for our reservation to go in. We're taking a couple pictures before we get there, but look how pretty this is. So it's a little bit dark. When we go to the other side, it'll be a bit brighter, but this is so cute. So this is honestly probably something that I wanted to do the most in Napa, was to tour this castle. It comes with like a tasting as well. So once we get inside, we'll have like wine flights and all of that good stuff, and actually like tour the castle too, which is super cool. I've never been in a castle before, so it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, right now we're just wasting a little bit of time. I don't think our reservation is until maybe about 20-30 more minutes, and then we're gonna go and head inside. Guys, so we're at the castle. We're just taking some pictures before we go into our reservation. This is my girl Stacy. Stacy, you excited? How you feeling?
I am super excited. You ready to be lit?
Yes. Yes. Once our reservation time finally started, we made our way actually inside the castle. This is the Castello di Amorosa, better known as the wine castle. Of course, I was excited to get into the actual tasting, but I was just as interested to see how this castle in California came to be. Dario Satui actually designed the castle back in 1995. 1994, but he made sure to authentically style it after a 14th century Tuscan castle winery in order to honor his Italian heritage and his deep love for medieval architecture. And the land that the castle is actually on, it was planted as one of California's first vineyards back in 1846. It took more than 8,000 tons of hand-chiseled local stone and nearly 1 million antique bricks imported from Europe to complete the castle. I love a fun fact, but I love tasting wines in Napa Valley a little bit more, so let's get into the wine. They have a couple different wine tasting experiences that you can choose from. Now, we had the seated tasting experience. We were able to pick 5 different wines that we wanted to taste, but they were all personalized based on our flavor profile, which notes we preferred, and really just make it a custom experience. And our host was so great. He was able to recommend what he thought we would most enjoy, and he did a really good job. With the seated tasting experience, you're also able to tour the castle on the first 2 main levels. So it's a self-guided tour, but they do give you a map of the castle so you know exactly where you're going. And it was just really interesting to see inside of a castle. On the bottom floor of the castle, they do have a gift shop where they have a little bit of everything from olive oil to children's books, magnets and mugs. They have it all. Now, I highly recommend if you were thinking about going to the wine castle or maybe you were on the fence, you gotta go. You definitely gotta go. I had such a good time. This honestly was probably one of the highlights on the trip to Napa. I mean, we just had such a good experience from the tasting to the tour, and the wine was really, really good. Now, at the time, I didn't buy any bottles to take back with me, but as soon as I got back home, I definitely jumped online and ordered a few online. I did. I absolutely did. And the shipping was very fast too. So if you're interested or if you can't make it to the castle, but you want to try the wine, I highly recommend that you order a few bottles too.
Just finished up the castle tour and tasting. We had such a great time. We tasted about 5 different wines or so. So we're all feeling really good. We're about to call the car to head back to the hotel, probably get settled in a little bit and then wait for fireworks. And there's like a, I guess, downtown kind of like parade that we're going to go to. So we're so excited. We had such a great time. And yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
We ended up missing the parade and the fireworks because we went to dinner at this Mexican place, but it wasn't good. So let's fast forward to the next day.
So we are here at the Napa Wine train station. We're just waiting for the rest of the girls to pop up. We had to split cars because our group was too big. And I'm so excited. I have to show you guys my dress. I don't know if you can see it, but I was going for like an old school, like super classy, super dainty, ladylike look. I don't even know if you can hear me. That's the train right there. It's really loud, so you might not even be able to hear me. But yeah, we're super excited. I can't wait to do like the whole experience. And yeah, as soon as the other girls get here, we'll take some pictures and then head inside. Yay!
The Napa Valley Wine Train is a 3-hour train ride with 14 different experiences on board. But I personally think we got the best one. Ended up going with the afternoon tea Chandon experience, and it was so gorgeous. I mean, just the way that the car was decorated, everything was already there waiting for us. It just felt so pretty and girly and just, I loved it. With this experience, you can pretty much think of it like an afternoon tea, but elevated. Immediately when you board the train, the Chandon Spritz is already there at your seat waiting for you, and they also give you a menu card of what exactly you'll be served on the trip. I fell in love with the Chandon Spritz. So good, so refreshing. It was the perfect afternoon drink. Once the train actually takes off, they give you a minute to kind of settle in, and then they do come around and actually provide the tea service where you select which tea you want to enjoy. I wish I could remember the name of the tea that I had, but it was delicious. It was whichever one they said was their most popular one, and I could see why. I wish I could take a couple bags home because it was that good. And not long after that, they bring out your first course meal. Now, I think there was a total of about 4 courses that we were served. Again, in the very beginning, they do give you that menu, so you know exactly what to expect. Throughout the ride, you're able to get up and travel in between each of the cars, so you can see all of the different experiences and kind of see what you want to try next time. Our experience was completely enclosed, but a couple of the different cars had open windows, they had dome concepts, just a bunch of different features that really make each car unique. And you know, each car deserves its own photo shoot.
Hello, hi. Really stick out. Oh, look at you. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, once we were done with the photo shoot, when we got back to our seats, they did have the next course there waiting for us, and we were excited to dig in. I'm pescatarian, so I'm used to making special requests for my food or just being prepared not to eat as much as everybody else. But our host, Kayla, who actually booked the trip for us, made it aware that I didn't eat meat, and they absolutely made accommodations for me. I felt super comfortable eating. I was able to eat everything on the actual tray. And little experiences like that always stick out in my mind when companies go above and beyond to make sure everyone on the train ride is comfortable. At one point, the executive chef even came over to welcome us and explain everything that we were eating and the intention behind each meal. Again, it's just little touches like that that just make the experiences, you know, elevated and just makes me want to come back and do it all over again. I would absolutely rate the wine train a 10 out of 10 and highly recommend it. If you were thinking about doing the wine train or if it's on your list of maybes, I definitely would put it at the top of your list and go ahead and do it. The 14 different experiences, they have a car for everyone, again, for you to feel comfortable with. They even have night rides, so they have a little bit of something for everyone. Once we finished our ride, we did head over to the Oxbow Market, which is literally walking distance from the train stop, so it was perfect. We wanted to see what they had in there because we knew they'd have a little bit of everything. It's pretty much like a huge food hall with a lot of different offerings and experiences, and we did find out this is where the locals in Napa go just to get a quick casual bite to eat and a great glass of wine. Oxbow, we did head back to the hotel for a little bit to get changed and relax and get ready for dinner. Exactly why I loved staying at the RN, because it's so close to everything. So after a short walk a little farther into downtown, we ended up at Little Sista Goodys, which is Napa's only soul food restaurant. Now again, we did go July 4th weekend, and they did seem like they were a bit understaffed because just like Sky and Vine the day before, everything took forever. The food took forever, the service took forever, but once the food did come out, it was good. I had the fried catfish, the mac and the yams. The fish and the yams, they were very good. The yams were very, very sweet, but it was good. Once we finished up dinner, we did head out and just do a little bit of bar hopping, or I guess wine bar hopping, you could say, and went to a couple different places. here in Napa, and it went by so fast. I mean, we were only here for a couple of days, but we did a lot of stuff. Everything that I really wanted to do, we ended up doing, which is great. So today we're gonna check out of the hotel, we're going to a wine tasting, and then we're gonna head back home. So this has been such a great trip. We've had so much fun. I think I fell in love with Napa. It's just the cutest little town. It's so like quaint. You can tell there's a lot of course, like tourists and people as well. But I just loved it. It's so cute. I definitely would come back again. And we've had some great wine too, and that's always a great thing. But yeah, today's our last day in Napa. Last and final winery stop out here in Napa, we did visit Brown Downtown, and I'm so glad we saved this for last because this was one of my favorites. Now, Brown Downtown is actually one of the first Black-owned wineries out here in Napa, and I fell in love with the family story just as much as I did with the wine. So back in about 1980, the parents of the Brown family actually bought an abandoned ranch and started to harvest their own grapes, and about 10 years later, the children decided to make their own wine, and as they say, the rest was history. I absolutely loved Brown Downtown. I loved how personalized and custom everything was, and how much attention to detail the family really put into everything from the wine selections to the ginger snaps. I mean, everything had a little bit of a touch of the Brown family in it all. They do have several different tasting experiences. We ended up going with the paired tasting experience, which included 4 different tastings of wines and a small bite plate. And you can tell the attention to detail that the Brown family has put into everything. I mean, this tasting felt warm and inviting and definitely culture forward. And along with their wine, I also love their playlist. They're known for their Zinfandel, but I fell in love with their Sauvignon Blanc, so I knew I had to take a bottle home. I highly recommend visiting Brown Downtown next time you're in Napa, but if you can't make it out to the actual tasting room, they do sell their wines online as well. Our Napa trip is officially over. We ended up walking back to the hotel. Our drivers were there to meet us and then drove back to Oakland for the flight back home. I was a little sad about our Napa trip coming to an end, but of course I have another vacation planned very soon and I can't wait to take you with me. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Something about this girl, man, from around my way. Ever try to hold back your feelings?